there seems to be this kind of bonus boom that we're seeing among the investment banks, the U.S. ones at least, what we're seeing globally. I'm just wondering, do you think this bonus boom is going to continue, and what really is driving it?
I think a lot of banks have already hit their yearly target well before year end. So generally speaking, everyone is expecting a very big bonus pool. And we did indeed heard that, the bonus pool is going to be really huge this year. However, I would say it's more to retain the top performer, talking about the top 5 to 10% performer, in case they are being headhunted by the competitors. So if you're an average performer, maybe in terms of the bonus itself may just average for like last year. But yeah, generally speaking, the bonus pool is huge this year. That's what we heard.
Okay, so give us an idea of what bonuses are going to be like this year.
Put it in this way, if you use last year as an example, people in front office may be getting 6 to 18 months of bonus. I think this year will be somewhat around beyond 12 to 20-ish. Quite depends. It quite depends how banks, how well they are doing. I would say most banks saying that they got a very phenomenal year this year, but we do see a couple here and there saying that second half, they don't do, the performance is not as good as the first half, but still overall speaking is very good.
What do you make of what we're seeing? I mean, there's this whole kind of the great resignation trend among just the financial industry, whether it's I'm going to go find a fintech job now and not work for the big investment banks out there. And then you have, as you mentioned, these kind of whole bonus bumps due to just to keep and retain people to stay in their jobs. And then you have the Hong Kong story, which there's a lot of expats are saying, either whether it's the COVID restrictions, the geopolitical environment, that maybe it's time to move. I mean, how much of that are you actually seeing here?
When it comes to the great resignation trend, to be honest, in front office, we haven't really heard a lot because of various reasons. Because the career opportunities will be very much limited when people actually leave Hong Kong for a front office role, also for the tax impact as well. However, when it comes to mid-back office, we do hear people leaving Hong Kong for good. And the thing is, they are usually at the core working level, talking about the AVP or the VP level, which is the most difficult layer to replace. And the thing is, they're still ongoing, and we are expecting there could be more people leaving Hong Kong next year as well.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to ask you. What are you seeing in terms of people leaving Hong Kong, and how much damage is this doing to it from a recruitment perspective for its status as a financial hub ultimately?
I would say it just makes recruitment market even hotter this year because I think the market is good this year. There is a lot of vacancies already. There are a lot of vacancies carried forward from last year because everyone was so prudent to hire last year. Even the market was doing well. And then we've got someone you can't retain them. You give them a counter offer, you give them a different job, you still can't retain them. So I would say the core working level, not the most senior bunch, not the junior bunch, they are all leaving Hong Kong. It does give a bit of opportunities to, I would say, the second tier group of candidates. Say, for example, if you've been working in a boutique banks, now even the bulge bracket banks will be happy to speak to you. If you have always been in sell side, now buy side firms will also be open to speak to you as well. So I would say it does create a shift in terms of the talent, how they are moving. But in the long run, we just really have to see. Yeah.
What about the Chinese banks? How competitive are they now?
Chinese banks, put it in this way, Chinese bank in terms of their base salary is always lower compared to bulge bracket banks. So if you're talking about working level, maybe something like VP and below, the difference can actually be ranging from 25 to 50% in terms of the base. However, in terms of bonus, is also a completely different story. So in a normal year, Wall Street banks will be paying bonus 6 to 18 months. But for Chinese banks, they can pay 12 months months, or they can even go beyond like 24 months. But if you ask me in terms of the total package in general, I would still say Wall Street banks pay better. And also for everyone, interesting point is for Chinese bank, when they pay bonus, they don't pay it at one go. So they paid it in, they actually split it into 2 to 4 tranches, and then the timing can be very random. So that's the thing. Sometimes people is a bit like not very sure whether they want to join or not.